Will the huge budgetary allocation solve the problem of insecurity in the country? The expenditure of the past budget for defense and security has continued to become a controversy as accountability has always been a major issue in the country. That those are really having a concern that the chunk of security allocation in the recent years have not well been accounted for, has not used to buy the necessary, as they buy the necessary equipment, the arms and machines for security officers to fight insurgency in the country. It's still a major concern. Of course, I'm being joined by Professor Ibrahim Ado. He's live here on the show to dissect these issues and the projection of the 2025 budget for the security and defense. Thanks so much, Prof, for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we've been having priorities for defense and security, and the 2025 budget is no way different from the previous years. Priorities given to defense. How would you appraise the previous budgeting and allocation to our defense?
Well, we should have a reason for an allocation. We should have a reason or a necessity for an allocation to defense and security. We have not moved from the template that we have already established over the years, where they say security votes are not audited, and asks, why should they not audit security votes? Security votes are not meant for personal spending or organizational spending or usage. And we are supposed to grow from where we are to where we call business and economic security, where the security organizations or agencies are supposed to generate their own revenue. If we are putting in 4.9 trillion, almost 5 trillion, let's put it that way, then what are we going to generate in the next 1-2 years from that funds? I can tell you that if we put this money in proper use, if we know what business and economic security means, we are supposed to be generating between 30 to 50 trillion. And if we cannot generate, then there is no purpose for such allocations or budget. Because any layman and anybody who understands the template of Nigeria very well will know why the budget of security has gone that high up. Because people are understanding now that infrastructural development, budgets made for infrastructural development can be probed. Because people are aware and knowledgeable enough to know that most of these funds don't go for infrastructural development. So if they want to cut corner with security budget, then we are here to also know that it is not done that way logically. The international rules on security goes beyond what they are thinking of or what their mindset is. So what have they put on this budget that makes them think that they are going to have a timeline for insecurity? We should have a timeline. What is the flame? What is the timeline? What is the framework? What is the processes? What are the procedures that they are following? And what are the rules that guide these procedures? These are the things that we are supposed to know. So it's not just saying almost 5 trillion of the people's money is going into security. If we are saying so, we should also say that, okay, this is what we are going to generate from security in the next 1-2 years. So we are applying this money to create security structures and infrastructures, and we are putting in these funds to generate this at the end of the day. But the budget has not shown us what they are putting this money into, than telling us they want to buy. We are not into war. We are not into.
So it's more about internal.
Yeah, so it's not, yes, we are not into war that we are saying we are going to deploy this amount of money to fight a war against other nations. We are not in a war zone yet. Even when we talk of the insecurity challenges, it is something that we can put a stop on within the next 6 months. At worst scenario, a year is enough for us to put a stop to the insecurity challenges we have. But if we have this kind of resources, then we can also put a hold to the insecurity challenges we have and also generate from security. It's only in Nigeria that we say we cannot generate any funds from security. We have to generate revenue from security. There's a lot of revenue in security that is more than what oil and gas can give us. 10 times more than what oil and gas can give us. 10 times more than any mineral resources that we are producing today can give us. And if we put these things, if we put the normal apparatus into place, then I think the challenges we are having today will become minimal, because we will now be talking of production. We'll be leaving the elementary areas where we are now to production, where everybody has a say, everybody has a right, everybody has a figure, and we transfigure these figures into momentous development. So if we are not looking at the development template, we are not looking at the processes, we are not looking at the operational index, we are not looking at any index of security, then the budget then is not necessary. But if we are saying that this will give us a line to what tomorrow will become of security, where security can generate the target rules of about 50 to 150 trillion naira, then we can go home and relax. This is my take. But if we come to the study of security in Nigeria and what is happening today and what we aim to achieve, then the funds well channeled will give Nigeria a boost, economic boost. Because I don't think there is any single organization in Nigeria that is generating up to 50 trillion. But from security, we can generate 50 trillion in the next 2 years. And in the next 5 years, going to about 100 to 150 trillion.
All right, Prof. There's a report that has been given by MPS. They said that kidnap victims paid 2.2 billion naira ransom in 1 year. There have been issues of concern about 51.9 million crime cases that have tried to resort to self-help within 1 year. One may say it will have all of these allegations to our security, wherever fighting kidnappers, fighting some threats in the country. How are we still having, if we have all of these increase and allocations to this defense, how are we still having these cases of kidnapping and all of that? Over 2.2 billion Nigerians have paid as ransom to kidnappers. And this also raise a question and a concern about how many Nigerians are afraid, to even travel. This is a unitary season. Some persons are even afraid to, those that cannot afford, the flight ticket are even afraid to also, travel on the road. I don't know in your time or in the 80s or thereabout if it was this more dangerous in the country now. We are having high rate of internal security challenges. And this projection that have been given by MPS is also worrisome, that Nigerians have to pay over 2.2 billion naira for ransom.
Yes, the statistics is worrisome. But are we prepared? Have we employed internal security professionals to assist the agencies? Are we prepared to build our internal security challenges, even external? No.
Do you feel the lack of political will?
Even what is happening in Britain today, the British police not handling gun, I have said it. Steve Smith did it. He was never a policeman. He was just a security professional. We have always flogged it out that you must be a uniform body to be a professional security person. No. The professional has never wear uniform any day. And nobody is using the professionals here. There are professionals, there are officers that you go to their office today and they will walk you out of their office. That is not done anywhere. Because that officer is not trained on emotional intelligence and anger management. An officer to be a manager of security, you are already trained that even on stress management, on emotional intelligence, on anger management. So you cannot get provoked. Because provocation is not part of the will. You can incite provocation to extract information from anybody. And that is what we have here. When a DG will get provoked and speak, and you can pick any information you want. An Inspector General of Police, a military general, whatever. You can get them provoked and get all the words and whatever you want to get. Which is not supposed to be so, because they are not professionals. So in the security circle, we are lacking in administration, in management, in operation, and in intelligence. And those who are actually threatening the sovereignty of the nation use these weaknesses, use these inefficiencies, use these inadequacies, use this every other atom of it to get through to whatever they want. And are we going to continue in such platform? No, we shouldn't continue. Because if you think you are going to manage a security situation, you have to also look at what you are managing, how you are managing it, and the result it will yield. When the result is on reversal, then you have not done the needful. So this is a time where we go back and say, are we losing it up? Because if the rule says now that the law says that if you generate some certain amount, 15% of what you generate comes back to the sector. That is the Nigerian law. So if we, for example, we are generating 50 trillion from security, and the security body is going home with 15 trillion, I am very sure even the lowest cadre of the security personnel will go home happily and do his job excellently without anybody intruding. In some other countries, they use their personal vehicles for patrol. They don't need the government because they know they will be compensated for any crime they bust. But yeah, we cannot even maintain the vehicles, the services vehicles. Sometimes there is no even fuel to run them because they are not contributing anything to the revenue of the nation. But when they are generating, if they tell me they cannot generate, I won't agree. I won't agree.
All right, Prof. I'm going to come to the issue of generation because it is an interesting conversation. But let's look at how sophisticated some of these, criminals have been in the country. That those that feel they are doing some of their transaction through mobile phone. They have bank accounts. For instance, the kidnap cases I just told you about ransom is transacted through the bank. How do we have, all of those intelligence agency and that are supposed to also be contributing in managing such information? Because I'm raising this in tandem with over the issue of 2.2 billion naira. How was this transaction done successfully? How can we have criminals have sophisticated phones, sophisticated weapons, even more than some of the security agencies that we have in this country? That is a sad tale of some of the insecurity problems we face in this country.
Let me come back to the amnesty granted to the Niger Delta agitators. Most of the arms submitted by the Niger Delta administrators actually belongs to the military, to the security service sector, and to the police. So how do they get them? Let's look at arms and rules that follow arms. I can't go to any country now and say I want to, or go to Israel now and said I want to buy Uzi. They will never sell it to me because I'm not a country. I'm not permitted. So Israel will not sell that arms to me. I can't go to any country and say I want Kalashi. It's not coming. So somebody in there somewhere are aiding these people. Because the information these chaps have, even within a layman don't have them. So how do they maneuver these payments? Because some of them are transfers to the banks. Some of them are cash. How do this cash move? There are some bankers involved. There are so many things that we need to know about that we don't know, we are not aware of. But we need to know, because you cannot even carry cash of 50 million now to bandits or to kidnappers, and this cash you will say were being spent or cash to some homes. No. This cash goes back to the bank. So from where they are, there is information some 2 years ago where they said bullion buses, vans goes to the jungles, to the thick forest, and take this money in cash and come to carry them into the banks. Who does this? Let's say that is the information. So what is our intelligence units doing? Why haven't we penetrated into the fabrics of these people? Are they saying that they don't have the wherewithal to do that? That I will disagree with.
Do they have the political will?
We are not talking of politics here. We are talking of security. In security, there is no atom of discrimination.
If government has the political will to confront these issues, if government of President Tinubu, because when he came on board, he made mention that security will be his priority.
That is not the first time we are hearing that. Buhari told us that he's going to eliminate every crisis of insecurity in giving him 3 months or 6 months. He never did anything for 8 years. So that to me is a political talk.
All right. Lastly, because of time, as we begin to wrap up, issues of the country's defense strategies. How effective is these strategies? We've been seeing President having security with the heads of security agencies, security chiefs, and all of that. Those are feels that if police are doing different thing, army are doing different thing, civil defense are doing different thing, where they might not have a proper way of targeting the problems that we are facing in this country. Or you have a knowledge better on what it means to have an effective defense strategies. How would you assess the defense strategies that have been deployed?
Let's come to this cyberspace. How many people know how the cyberspace operates. Before we talk of cyber security, if the cyberspace, if we know that in defense we have the space military system, we have the ballistic missiles, we have the Scud missiles, we have the LATA missiles, we have fluid missiles, and we have the chemical weapons and tri-cheat weapons and flow coat weapons and the rest, which Nigerians don't even know. Even the military don't know most of these things that operate. They don't know how the flakes can even say land in Abuja, for example, destroy the whole of the presidential villa without anybody saying it. If we want to go, these are knowledge-based things that they don't even know who are in the security sector. Even our common track vision protocols, they don't know. So you must go back to the basis and see that this is what we want, this is what we want to achieve. We are talking of bandits and kidnappers who from Abuja you can see where they are. And you can just throw the high flash system to them and they will be there for the next 24 hours and you can pick them up. Can they do it? You don't need to carry guns. Can they do it? Can the Nigerian defense system do it? Let me not go into some areas. I said it here once. If not for one person, one single person, Ebola would have killed a lot of people here. Is the person known by the security agencies up to today? Is it Stella Adedevo? No. So to me, Stella Adedevo committed suicide because they want her. So who knows that Professor Patrick Sawyer was coming to Nigeria? Who stopped him at the airport? Has the Nigerian intelligence unit find out up to today? And what will have happened if that person did not have that information? Has the person ever been compensated? No. Did anybody know him? No. So we are not operating we are not operating from the realm we are supposed to operate. We are operating by the training given us by the colonialist, the imperialist. And we have not been able to grow from that to where we are supposed to be. We are not ready to develop our own template and framework.
All right, Prof. What would be your last concern if we're having these budget 4.91 trillion, over 5 trillion, as you said, for defense? What would be your conclusions in respect to that? Because we understand that the House of Reps and the Senate will be doing some jobs surrounding this budget.
We should know what we are going to achieve if we are going to put in about 5 trillion naira into defense and security budget. What are we going to achieve? Are we going to start generating our revenue from security, or is that going to end the insecurity threat, or what? Who are we going to hold responsible if some of these things are not achieved? What are the penalties and what are the rules guiding the disbursement of these funds, and for what purpose? And at what knowledge or principles of concept are we going to follow? If these are not really spelled out, then it is business as usual.
Doing something and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah, there is a business as usual.
Thank you, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar. A lot of concern and, of course, things to learn on right there. Nigerians are still having more concern about approach towards tackling this insecurity in the country. They're having a concern that increasing the budgetary allocations alone may not be the answer. And just as Professor Ibrahim has shared, there must be different ways and priorities given to those things that we wish to do for these budgets. And of course, we can't continue to do the same thing to expect different results. That's the size of our show tonight on Big Talk. We'll continue to track some of these development reactions in respect to the 2025 budget and the state of the nation in general. My name is Edikan Michael. See you again.